The United Nations is trying to shut down Russia before they even have their day in court. It's very apparent that this is what they're trying to do. And if you watch the entire 2-hour hearing, which we aired this morning on Patriot One News, you will see that this was nothing but a Russia witch hunt. We're going to now listen to, again, the representative of the Russian Federation. If you are just joining us, you're going to want to go back and you're going to want to listen to how we started this show. He spoke about the allegations. The United Nations members then had a chance to ask questions, which they didn't ask a single question. All they did was attack Russia and tell them, please get out of Ukraine, get out of Ukraine. Please stop fighting. Please stop attacking them. This wasn't for that. This was a separate hearing that had to do with the allegations, discussing the fact that the United States is a suspect in funding biolabs across the Ukraine. So when the representative for the Russia Federation finally had a chance to speak again, he did want to back up the fact that the world hates Russia right now and that propaganda is on full display by discussing the hospital maternity ward attack, just to prove to everybody that the world's already out to get us. We wouldn't expect you guys to believe a damn thing that we said right now. But I like how they sneak that in for the whole world to see, just in case some of you weren't paying attention. But before we get into this, I want to just go through what happened or what we're talking about here. Just a few days ago, a bombing at a maternity hospital occurred. The Russia Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, told a press conference that the Russians deliberately targeted it because it was not being used as a maternity unit at all, whatever the Western journalists claim. So regardless of what the Western journalists claim, the Russia Foreign Minister said, hey, listen, this is not what happened. What the media is reporting is not what actually happened. We're talking about the fact that Ukraine claims that Russia bombed a maternity ward. Well, the Russia Foreign Minister came on and said, no, that's not what happened at all. And the real story is that it wasn't a hospital, but it was in fact a military installation taken over by the Ukrainian Azov Battalion and other ultra-right radical groups. The Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov explained that the mothers had already been driven out, so there was nobody there. This is all by The Independent, by the way, verified by several mainstream media outlets. So Lavrov explained that the mothers had already been driven out by these extremists, hence what Lavrov called the pathetic outcries concerning so-called atrocities and the biased media coverage. You may think that what you saw was heavily pregnant women being carried away on a stretcher, but the foreign minister of the Russian Federation is telling you that she's a neo-Nazi renegade or possibly an actor. So they've come out and now accused that pregnant lady as an actor or else a human shield, which is no justification for the attack anyway. Lavrov invites the world to draw its own conclusion. So this came out a few days ago. Those of you who actually follow other social media influencers, there's been a great deal of talk about a lot of the discrepancies by the media, a lot of the fake pictures and videos that are being released by the MSM that are also being countered by a lot of the other social media hosts who have said, no, this actually is not the case, and this is why. Well, the Russian foreign minister has also backed up that deniability that this hospital was hit. And this morning on the United Nations floor, the representative to the Russian Federation also backed that up during the hearing. Let's have a listen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, what conclusion could be drawn from the discussion we've had today? As we expected, our Western colleagues, first and foremost, neither one of them addressed the substance of the issue we put forward.
And that's exactly what I was just saying. He just said not a single person wanted to talk about what we brought forward today.
And my American colleague was throwing thunderbolts and accused us, as we expected, of propaganda. Two things came to mind. First of all, Russian saying, according to which a guilty mind is never at ease. The louder people are trying to shift the blame on us, the greater is our conviction that we hit the nail on the head when we're talking about their nefarious activity in Ukraine. Secondly, I remember another story which was mentioned many times in many contexts about the container shown by the Colin Powell some time ago here in this room, which became the foundation for the United States going into Iraq, and which led to huge level of suffering and victims and destruction, which then reverberated in the whole region, reverberated also in the form of a terrorist organization called ISIL. That is the real palm door that the Albanian colleague mentioned today. In his statement, many of you said that you are unaware of the military biological programs in Ukraine. That doesn't mean that they didn't exist in actual fact.
Which, again, I don't believe for a single second. I don't believe for a single second that a single United Nations member is totally unaware of these biological labs that exist in Ukraine. That is a darn right lie. That to me tells me that they are all ganging up right now. Not a single person asked to see more evidence regarding this. That to me says we don't want to know because we don't want to discuss it here in front of the world to learn about. So we're all just going to play dumb. We're going to pretend none of this has ever happened. None of it's happening. And we're just going to deflect, not ask a single question, gaslight the American people, put on this fake hearing, or at least acknowledge this hearing, so we can all go about our business and continue to brainwash the American people that this couldn't possibly happen just because Russia said so. It's preposterous.
Military development is a secret enterprise, and those who are involved in that do not report to Ms. Nakamitsu about it. I also recall Iraq and Mosul, which were razed to the ground and buried under their rubble thousands of civilians, and this was done by the forces of the coalition headed by the United States. And the bodies remain there for several months. And I do not recall righteous ire on the part of the colleagues about this. We raised this issue many times, but this died and was buried, and people prefer not to recall that. But on the other hand, we hear every day about the atrocities of the Russian army attacks on hospitals, kindergartens, schools, maternity hospitals using cluster bombs, something that was refuted repeatedly by our Ministry of Defense. The maternity hospital number 1 in Mariupol has become the common parlance in this regard. Let me ask you this. Did you listen to what we said here in this room on Monday, 7th of March, when we said that the fighters, the radicals, converted that building into an attack base? This is something that we warned about even then. Apparently you don't listen, or you don't hear what it is that we say.
So he basically just said, did you guys not hear on Monday when we said we converted that maternity ward into an attack base? That ward was long cleaned out. The women were gone, long gone. So this is where he addressed and backs up some of the mainstream media are reporting that actually that was not a maternity ward. That was an attack base. And he's saying, did you guys not listen to us on Monday? We already told you that. Why do you continue to push that narrative?
Did you see the photos of the allegedly destroyed maternity hospital, the building of the hospital destroyed by a bomb? What you can see there is a building without windows, but it's not destroyed. Here are the photos. Can you imagine what would have happened to a building if it underwent a bomb strike or shelling, as well as to those who were inside the building? What would have happened to it? So we have the videos from inside the building. Here they are. And they show that there is disorder, overturned furniture, and untouched intact chairs. Once again, can you imagine what kind of destruction would have remained in the wake of a building?
See? He very clearly showed pictures. He's asking, can you imagine what the building would look like if we destroyed it? Yet there's furniture, there's rooms, nothing's unturned, nothing's touched. We already told you this building's been converted into attack base, so he's using this now to let everybody know we have been lying. But are you surprised? That's what the MSM does. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.